What's up, geometry scholars? In our next class, we're going to be creating a composition of a transformation of a labby. We're going to be starting here with this sort of blank template and producing something that looks a little bit like this. First, however, we're going to need a brief overview of Photoshop. This is the interface. On the left side of the screen, I see lots of tools. On the right side of the screen, I see something called the layers palette, and each layer has an element in the canvas, and we're going to break this down in a moment. First, however, we're going to jump into Google Classroom, and I can see that we've got this template. It's a PSD file. I see we've got the example that we just saw a moment ago, and I also see that we've got some photos. So let's take a look at the photos, and we'll talk briefly about how to download them. So when you open up this album, you're going to find yourself, or maybe a buddy, and we'll snag Michael right here. To download an image, you're going to click on the 3 vertical dots, and then you're going to select Download, and it's going to go to your Downloads folder. Amazing. All right, so when we return to Photoshop, how do we open up those files? We're going to click on File, Open. File, Open. And when we do that, I can see that we've got Chance, who I already downloaded. We've got Maisie, we've got Michael, and I'm going to press Open. And now I can see that all 3 are in Photoshop, and they're tabbed on the top. So there we've got Maisie over here. And I can sort of shift these tabs over. I'm going to create a new document real quick, and we're going to talk about how the layers palette works. All right, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to snag these guys. So here we've got my man Chance, and I'm simply creating a selection, pressing Command C, Command V to paste, and cannot forget Maisie. All right, great. All right, so what do I know? I can see a few things. I can see Maisie on top. I can see Michael is obscured, and I don't see Chance at all. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to click on this little tool at the top. It's called a Move tool, and it can select a layer and shift it around. So, oh, there's Chance. Amazing. But if I shift it up, he's not deleted. He's just obscured by Maisie. If we want Chance on top, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look in the Layers palette right here. Typically, it's on the right side of the screen, and I'm going to grab layer 1, the Chance layer, and I'm going to drag it up. Boom, there he is. And now I can see it's Chance, and then Maisie, and then Michael. If we want Michael above both Maisie and Chance, we can shift it like that. So what's on top on the layers palette is on top in the whatever you're working on, the canvas itself. So I'm going to close out these images, and we're going to return to this template. So how do we download the template? Well, when we're in Google Classroom, you're going to click right here, and similar to the photos in the photo album, what we need to do is click these 3 vertical dots. We're going to select Open in a new window, and then we're going to click that little download icon right there. And then you're going to download. It's going to download to your downloads folder, and then we're going to click File, Open, and then in Photoshop you're going to find it, and I can see that right here. It's boom, transformation template, and you're going to press Open. All right, so when we open up the transformation template, I can see in this layers palette we've got lots of little layers. I can see it says black G, white M, black M. I can see that it says geometry logo. Again, each of these layers has an element in the canvas. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the Move tool again, and I can see that we can shift this around. So if you're not creating a composition of a labby, of one of your buddies or yourself, and you're doing a celebrity, what we can do is simply click on this layer in the layers palette and simply press delete, and then you're going to type in, I don't know, LeBron James, or I don't know who you guys like, Ariana Grande. You're going to do somebody that really resonates with you. And all right, what else do we need to know? So the Move tool can shift elements around, and that's really crucial. We're going to need to learn one more tool in this video tutorial, and that's called the magnetic lasso. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift 2 tools down from the Move tool, and I'm going to right click, and I'm selecting the magnetic lasso. And I can see a little magnet right there. And what we need to do is I'm going to open up an image from before, and we'll do Michael. Why not? Great. So this can be a little bit tedious. I'm going to press Command plus to zoom in, and I'm going to do the lasso tool first, just so you can get an idea of what this looks like. So I'm using the lasso tool. You're going to use the magnetic lasso. I'm making an awful selection, and I'm going to seal it up. So once you create a selection, you're going to press Command C to copy, and then we're going to return to our template. We're going to press Command V, and then if we press Command T to transform, we can then shrink it down. All right, and so I like Michael. He's a good kid, but this is not the quality selection that we're looking for. I'm going to return to this image. I'm going to press Command D to deselect it. Instead, we're using something called the magnetic lasso. The magnetic lasso. All right. So how does it work? It clings to high contrast objects, which is why I took photos of you guys with this green backdrop, just because it makes it a little bit easier to create selections. And so what I'm doing is I'm wrapping the mouse along the perimeter of his body, the edge of his body. I'm not clicking anything. The computer's doing the work. It's just looking for high contrast areas, although you can put down what we're going to refer to as a bounding box if you're so inclined. And I'm actually going to just go a little bit more quickly. You guys are going to do a far more precise job. All right. Oh no, Michael. All right, so it looks like this, and I'm going to go ahead and just clean up this selection just a tad. All right. So we've got this selection of Michael. I'm going to return to the template. I'm going to click this because we don't want to press delete. I'm going to press Command V to paste, Command T, and I'm going to shrink it down. And there we go. A few more quick things that we're going to need to know for this project. If we're going to be dilating from a point, in this case point G, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to press Command T. I'm going to shrink the size, and we'll talk more about this in class. And we always want to press check to confirm after we're changing the size of a layer. And what we need to do right now is we need to duplicate a copy of Michael. So we have both the pre-image and the image. To create a copy of Michael, what we're going to do is press Command J. And when I see in the layers palette, I see it goes layer 1 and then layer 1 copy. And now all of a sudden, we've got another example of Michael. So what we can do, and I'll talk more about this in our next class, is increase the dimensions of this layer or dilate, for example, by a scale factor of 4. Additionally, if we want to change the background color from blue to something else, what you're going to want to do is click on the background layer in the layers palette. You see how I'm on that layer? And we're going to press Command U. And we're going to change the hue. So maybe you don't want blue, maybe you want purple or pink, or maybe New York City Lab School green, or I kind of like, let's see, I like that color right there. All right. So we learned how the layers palette works. We learned how the move tool works. That's this tool right there. We learned how to change the size of a layer. And in our next class, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about the fundamentals of Photoshop so we can produce a composition of a transformation of a labby.